to megatech. If you have an emergency fund sitting in a regular savings account right now, I need to tell you something that might shock you. You're literally losing money every single day. With inflation at 3.8%, that traditional 0.4% savings account is destroying your purchasing power. But today, I'm going to show you exactly how to build an emergency fund 2.0 that not only protects you from disasters, but actually beats inflation and grows your wealth. We're talking strategies that earn you 4% to 5% returns while keeping your money completely safe and accessible. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly where to move your emergency fund to maximize every single dollar. Let's dive in. Here's the brutal reality most people don't understand. If your emergency fund is earning less than the inflation rate, you're getting poorer every single month. Let me show you the math that'll make this crystal clear. Let's say you have $10,000 in a traditional savings account, earning the national average of 0.41% APY. After 1 year, you'll have $10,041. Sounds okay, right? Wrong. With inflation at 3.8%, that same $10,000 actually needs to grow to $10,380 just to maintain the same purchasing power. You just lost $339 in real value. But here's where it gets worse. Over 5 years with that traditional savings account, your $10,000 becomes $10,207. But with 3.8% annual inflation, you'd need $12,015 to have the same buying power. That's a loss of nearly $1,900 in purchasing power. Almost 20% of your emergency fund just evaporated. And this is exactly why 64% of Americans can't cover a $1,000 emergency right now. It's not just that they're not saving, it's that inflation is eating their savings faster than they can build them. Traditional emergency fund advice is broken, and today I'm going to show you how to fix it with strategies that actually work in 2025. Strategy number 1 is the absolute foundation of Emergency Fund 2.0, high-yield savings accounts. And I'm not talking about your traditional bank's high-yield account that pays 0.5%. I'm talking about accounts paying 4% to 5% right now in November 2025. The best high-yield savings accounts are currently offering up to 5% APY with zero minimum balance requirements and no monthly fees. Let me show you what this means for your emergency fund. Take that same $10,000. In a 5% high-yield savings account, after 1 year, you have $10,500. That's $500 in interest. Now compare that to inflation at 3.8%. You need $10,380 to maintain purchasing power. You're not just keeping up with inflation, you're beating it by $120. That's real wealth growth while maintaining complete safety and liquidity. Here are the top accounts right now in November 2025. Kahoot is offering 5% on balances up to $3,000. Open Bank by Santander pays 4.20% with just a $500 minimum. Axos Bank offers 4.51% with a $1,500 minimum balance. And Basque Bank has 4.05% with absolutely zero minimums. Now here's the key advantage. These accounts are FDIC-insured up to $250,000 per depositor, which means your money is backed by the full faith and credit of the U.S. government. Unlike investing in stocks or crypto, there's zero risk of losing your principal. And you have instant access. You can transfer money to your checking account typically within 24 hours, which is exactly what you need for true emergencies. The only downside? These rates aren't locked in. When the Federal Reserve cuts interest rates, these high-yield accounts will adjust downward. But for now, they're beating inflation by over a full percentage point, which makes them the perfect foundation for Emergency Fund 2.0. Strategy number 2 is what I call the inflation killer. U.S. Treasury I bonds. And this might be the most underrated emergency fund tool that exists. I bonds were specifically designed to beat inflation. Here's how they work. The current rate for I bonds purchased from November 2025 through April 2026 is 4.03%. But here's what makes them special. This rate is made up of two components. First, there's a fixed rate of 0.90% that's locked in for the entire 30-year life of the bond. Second, there's an inflation-adjusted rate that changes every 6 months based on the Consumer Price Index. So when inflation goes up, your I bond rate automatically goes up. When inflation goes down, your rate adjusts down, but never below that 0.90% fixed floor. This means you're guaranteed to keep pace with inflation, period. Let's look at the numbers. If you invest $10,000 in I bonds today at 4.03%, after 1 year, you have $10,400. That's $403 in interest, and because the rate adjusts with inflation, you're essentially guaranteed to maintain purchasing power. In 6 months, the rate will reset based on whatever inflation is at that time. Now, here are the rules you need to know. You can buy up to $10,000 per person per year through treasurydirect.gov. You cannot withdraw the money for the first 12 months. It's completely locked. If you withdraw between years 1 and 5, you forfeit the last 3 months of interest as a penalty. After 5 years, there's no penalty, and you can cash out anytime. So here's my strategy. Use I bonds for the portion of your emergency fund that you're least likely to need immediately. If you need 6 months of expenses, keep 3 months in a high-yield savings account for instant access, and put the other 3 months in I bonds. After that first year, when the I bonds become accessible, you have a layered system where you're earning maximum interest while maintaining liquidity. The biggest advantage? I bonds are backed by the U.S. government. They're completely tax-advantaged at the state and local level, and they automatically adjust to protect you from inflation. For Emergency Fund 2.0, this is absolutely essential. Strategy number 3 is for people who want to maximize returns while maintaining regular access. CD laddering. This is more advanced, but incredibly effective. A CD ladder means you split your emergency fund across multiple certificates of deposit with staggered maturity dates. Instead of putting $6,000 into one 12-month CD, you create a ladder. $500 in a 3-month CD, $500 in a 6-month CD, $500 in a 9-month CD, and $500 in a 12-month CD tool. Here's why this is brilliant. Every 3 months, one of your CDs matures. If you don't need the money, you reinvest it into a new 12-month CD at the top of the ladder. After the initial setup period, you have a CD maturing every quarter, giving you regular access to cash while earning higher CD rates than savings accounts. Current CD rates in November 2025 are extremely attractive. LHV Bank offers 4.46% on 1-year CDs. JN Bank pays 4.42% on 2-year CDs. DF Capital has 4.47% on 3-year terms. These rates beat most high-yield savings accounts. Let me show you the math. Take $6,000 in a CD ladder as I described. Your average rate across the ladder might be 4.35%. After 1 year, assuming you reinvest maturing CDs, you're earning about $261 in interest. Compare that to a traditional savings account at 0.41%, earning just $25. That's over 10 times more interest. The downside? If you need money before a CD matures, you'll pay an early withdrawal penalty, typically 3 to 6 months of interest. That's why you need to keep a portion of your emergency fund in an instantly accessible high-yield savings account. My recommended split: keep 1 month of expenses in high-yield savings for immediate access. Put 3 months of expenses in a CD ladder for higher returns with quarterly access. And if you're really building Emergency Fund 2.0, add 3 more months in I bonds for maximum inflation protection. That's a 6-month emergency fund with 3 layers of access and protection. Strategy number 4 is money market funds, and this is where we get into the trade-off between FDIC insurance and slightly higher returns. Money market funds are mutual funds that invest in ultra-safe, short-term debt instruments like Treasury bills and commercial paper. They're not FDIC-insured, but they're considered extremely low risk because they're required to maintain a stable $1 net asset value. Current money market fund yields are in the 4.5% to 5% range, often slightly higher than high-yield savings accounts. The big players like Vanguard, Fidelity, and Schwab all offer money market funds with competitive rates and low expense ratios. Here's the advantage. Money market funds typically respond quickly to Federal Reserve rate changes, sometimes even faster than high-yield savings accounts. You have same-day liquidity. You can often write checks directly from money market funds or transfer money instantly. And there are no withdrawal limits, like some savings accounts have. The disadvantage? No FDIC insurance. While money market funds have never broken the buck for retail investors since 2008, and the risk is extremely low, it's technically possible. For emergency funds, this matters. My take: if you already have a brokerage account with Vanguard, Fidelity, or Schwab, using their money market settlement fund for a portion of your emergency fund makes sense. You get easy access, competitive rates, and the convenience of having your emergency money in the same place as your investments. But I wouldn't put my entire emergency fund here. I'd still want at least 50% in FDIC-insured high-yield savings. Pro tip: some banks like CIT and Marcus offer money market accounts. These are different from money market funds. Money market accounts are bank products that are FDIC-insured and pay rates similar to high-yield savings accounts. Don't confuse the two. All right, let's bring this all together into your complete Emergency Fund 2.0 blueprint. Here's exactly how to structure your emergency savings in 2025. Step 1. Calculate your target. You need 3 to 6 months of essential expenses, not your total spending. Essential expenses only. Rent, food, utilities, insurance, minimum debt payments. If that's $3,000 per month, you need $9,000 to $18,000. Step 2. Build your 3-tier system. Tier 1 is instant access. 1 month of expenses in a high-yield savings account, earning 4% to 5%. This is for true emergencies that need immediate cash. Open accounts with Kahoot, Open Bank, or Axos Bank. Tier 2 is quarterly access. 3 months of expenses in a CD ladder. Set up CDs maturing every 3 months, so you always have access coming up soon. Use banks like LHV, JN Bank, or DF Capital, offering 4.4% or higher. Tier 3 is maximum growth, remaining funds in I bonds, earning 4.03% with automatic inflation adjustment. Buy through treasurydirect.gov. After the first year, these become accessible with just a 3-month interest penalty until year 5. Step 3. Automate everything. Set up automatic transfers from your paycheck. $500 per month goes to high-yield savings. And once that reaches your 1-month target, redirect to CD purchases and I bonds. Most people fail at emergency funds because they don't automate. Step 4. Rebalance annually. Every year, check if your emergency fund still matches your expenses. If your rent went up or you got a raise, adjust your targets and shop around. New banks offer competitive rates all the time. Step 5. Don't touch it unless it's a real emergency. Car repair? Emergency. Vacation? Not an emergency. Medical bill? Emergency. New TV? Not an emergency. Keeping this discipline is what separates people who build wealth from people who stay broke. Here's the bottom line. A traditional emergency fund earning 0.41% loses $330 per year on $10,000 to inflation. Emergency Fund 2.0, earning an average of 4.5% across your 3 tiers, earns $450 and beats inflation by $70. Over 5 years, That's the difference between losing nearly $2,000 and gaining over $1,000. That's a $3,000 swing from doing this correctly. So here's my challenge. Take action today. Open a high-yield savings account right now. It takes 10 minutes. Then drop a comment below telling me which bank you chose and what rate you're getting. I personally respond to every comment, and I'll let you know if there's a better option. If this video helped you understand how to actually protect your emergency fund from inflation, smash that like button and subscribe for more content that makes you money, not just entertains you. And check out the video I'm linking right here, where I break down the 5 biggest money mistakes that keep people broke forever. Remember, your emergency fund isn't just about surviving disasters. It's about building wealth while protecting yourself. Emergency Fund 2.0 does both. I'll see you in the next one.